Alright, hi fifth graders. So today's lesson is very similar to yesterday's. More of the words that we did yesterday were synonyms, but today's focus is analogies with antonyms. Although there might be some synonyms in there too, so you got to keep an eye out. Don't just assume that because the lesson says we're working with antonyms that they're all going to be antonyms. You need to do your job as a reader and writer to pick that out. Okay, so let's look at this first statement. Tardy is to early as abundant is to rare. I know that tardy means you're late, and that has an opposite meaning as early, so this pair would be antonyms. Abundant means you have more than what you need or extra, and rare means that it's difficult to find or unique, so these would also have opposite meanings, or they would be considered antonyms. So I know that they are related as their antonyms, but I'm going to write my analogy using this information. So I have tardy is too early as abundant is too rare. Alright, looking at the next set. Dull is too keen as ancestor is too descendant. I am looking at ancestor and descendant. I know those are antonyms just by looking at, just with my background knowledge. I just know that those words are antonyms. And then looking over here, dull means kind of boring. Keen makes me think of like sharp or clear. There's clarity. So I would say that these also are antonyms, which means I can make an analogy with them. Dull is too keen as ancestor is too descendant. Oops. Okay. Now looking at the next one, routine is to habit as examine is to inspect. These words look like they're pairs of synonyms, because I know routine is like something you do daily, that the same thing you do daily, and that has a similar meaning to habit. And then examine, I would actually, in my own definition of examine, probably use the word inspect, so I could tell that these are also synonyms and have similar meanings. Still, we'll write my analogy the same way with the colons, but I know I can do that because they are related in the exact same way. They're synonyms this time. So I have routine is to habit as examine is to inspect. Okay. Looking ahead, I have two where I will need to fill in the blank, so I need to be aware of how my words are related. Deny is to oppose, as destroy is to blank. The deny makes me think that's like no, and oppose also I would say like it's no, it's not happening. So I would say that these are synonyms, which means I need to come up with a synonym for destroy in order to make an analogy. I'm going to start writing that, but deny is to oppose as destroy is to, and then I need to find a word that would be a synonym of destroy, and I think I'm going to use demolish. All right. Looking ahead to this one, I have simple is too challenging, as distant is too. Simple, I think, has the opposite meaning of challenging, so I would say that this would be an antonym, and in order for this to become a true analogy, I would have to make my word in the blank an antonym of distant, so that this pair and this pair are related in the same way as antonyms. So I'm going to write simple is too challenging, as distant is too. I'm thinking of where that means has the opposite meaning of distant. I would say maybe nearby. So I can write that there and there. Oh, maybe you couldn't see that, but okay. So your activity today, similar to yesterday, where you will have an analogy set up for you, and it will be in the statement form. I would challenge you to write it in this formal analogy format as well, just so you have the practice. And I think Mrs. Bench was the one that mentioned this, but these are like questions that are found on the ACT. So this is stuff that you're being introduced to now, that later on in life you'll need to know it. So it's good practice now. So I do want you to write it this formal way to practice it, so that way when you see it, you'll have some understanding of what it is. Or maybe you'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of remember what that looked like, and then it'll help you help bring it back to you. Anyways, back on task. So you'll have a similar thing where it will be a statement with a fill in the blank, and you need to determine how the words are related, fill in the blank, and then there is a word box for you to use as well. So extra practice like earlier in the week.